Wait, okay, there we go. I looked to my left. I just saw a black screen. I was like, that doesn't look good. All right, we're here. Map number 1. In the bottom left, spawning as our red Zerg player playing for Team Vitality, it is going to be Solar.
And his opponent in the top right of Hecate, it is representing the Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. And I believe Hero Marine beating Gumia wasn't the only upset. I think Scarlet beating Spirit is also considered an upset by most of the community, I would say. So I think maybe even a bigger one than Gabe beating Gumio. So a very good start for Scarlet into this group already, which should boost the confidence, because beating Spirit is one of her opponents.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of her direct competitors for the 2nd to 3rd place slot. So that's a very important win straight off the back, which I think alleviates the pressure a lot already. Usually, especially at the beginning of the group, at least for me, I'm always very nervous, and I think it's the same for most players, that the first couple of games are always the hardest, and if you win, a lot of pressure falls straight off your shoulders.
True. Yeah, an interesting fact, by the way, is that Scarlet doesn't get nervous, right? Like, whenever...
Yeah.
I think one of the only players that doesn't seem to... At least says that she doesn't get nervous at all, which is very rare. I don't think there's anyone else, really, that doesn't get nervous at all.
Well, Raynor. I think Raynor is a good...
he gets nervous too, though.
Yeah, I mean, Scarlet will get also nervous to some degree. I think Raynor is very good at tournament matches, but in terms of nerves, Estrella also strikes me as someone, although I am not entirely sure, yes. Maybe it's an American thing.
It's sometimes hard to judge the Protoss players as well, because there's so little going on in the mind that it's difficult for them to communicate it as well. A lot of us just don't quite understand the emotion nerves either. It's too advanced. Our brain hasn't evolved past the lizard stage. So it's always going to be difficult. These are standard openers, right, Lambo? We don't have to discuss hatch first versus hatch first.
Standard openers from both sides, absolutely. Hatch first versus hatch first. Also, both players going for speed. Most likely not a 2-base opener from either side.
Okay. Why does Scarlet have 16 less gas? Just forgot to pool in gas or something?
No, actually, Solar is the one that went for a deviation here, as he actually didn't pull one drone off gas. It is very common for Zerg players to pull one drone off gas, because you don't need the baiting nest earlier then you can get it if you pull one off gas right after speed, since the baiting nest then will finish even before the speed is done.
Mm-hmm.
So usually you would prefer accelerating your mineral income early on with the move of basically just pulling off gas for as much as you think you can afford. The reason why Solar is doing this is because he's actually doing a build that I executed as well for the first time ever in Katowice. That was 5 years ago, which is where you keep 3 in gas and then you go for the baiting nest at the front. You make a couple of Zerglings and you go for a roach all-in with 7 to 8 roaches, and you just move across the map. It's a 1-gas build. It's a very committed build. At the very least, you want to cancel your opponent's 3rd base. And this build is one of the reasons why early roach horn is so much more common now, because it's very difficult to defend this if you don't go for an early roach horn.
Yeah, because back in the day, excuse me, we always saw the Evo chamber first, which is indeed what Scarlet is still going for, and that is going to be an issue.
Yeah, the biggest issue is that she doesn't have a scout whatsoever. So she, so far, I mean, Solar has some Zerglings at the front. He went for the creep tumor. This just looks like very normal gameplay from him. So it's difficult to scout this, but you basically need to scout the roach horn, which is why the early roach horn is so common, because you can't reliably scout it. Now she didn't even get to see the roaches. Now she sees them with her overlord. Instantly she fires up a lair. That was even before she scouted it. I think she needs to sack the 3rd base no matter what. That should be the first move, and I think this spine is way too late, and it's too far forward as well. I think a full wall plus spines is the only response that keeps her alive, but let's see if she can prove me wrong here.
Yeah, Baneling fight happening at the front as the Lynx will snipe the Queen at the 3rd base. Scarlet in a world of trouble. It actually went a bit better than I thought it would. 3 more Banes though coming out here from Solar's side as Scarlet seems to just be straight up dying here. 39 workers to 26. So a massive eco lead, but that's not great if you're being hit in the face with a hammer. And that seems to be what's happening right now. Lane counts are fairly equal, but there's still the roaches well to back all of this up for Solar, who's starting to clear up the 2nd queen. Actually, there's no queens remaining right now for Scarlet, and there's also no units remaining, so that probably means that she's dead.
That she is 1-0 for Solar. Convincing game there, based purely off the strategy that he chose to do. He executed it well. There wasn't much Scarlet could do because her Roach Warren was just too late. You need to blindly make an early Roach Warren if you want to defend this. That's why we saw a meta change, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned it, and as you mentioned it, she threw down that Evo chamber, and she paid the price instantly. In a way, it is beautiful that that type of stuff happens, you know? Because otherwise people might not believe that you're speaking the truth to them. It's like, here comes Lambo again with his fake stories. And then it's like, I bet you can hold it with just a fast Evo. But then, here we see it. Evo goes down, Scarlet instantly dies. What do you think would have been the kind of the correct way to go about it if you're Scarlet in this case, and you have thrown down that Evo chamber? Is there still anything you can really do? Or is it best to just, go back to the lobby screen as quick as you can and prepare for the next match?
There definitely is. You can full wall. You have to full wall. She needs to evacuate the drones right away. Full wall as early as possible. The issue is she saw it so late that the wall wouldn't have that much HP done already, and then get like 3 spine crawlers behind it and mass banelings, as many as possible behind the wall to make it as difficult for Solar as possible to enter her natural. And then even then, Solar will kill the third base, and if he just makes drones, he'll still be a little bit ahead. But that would have been the best course of action. It's the only way to stay alive.
All right. So we're loading into our second map already. What is the chance that Solar does this twice in a row, Lambo?
I think very low. I would be very surprised to see it twice.
Can we put a percentage on it?
5, maybe.
5%. That is indeed very low. For the people keeping track at home, that is 1 in 20. And we just had it in the last game, so it's even less likely that it's going to happen a second time in a row. Then that's crazy. All right, let's just pop right into this game here. It's one of my hobbies to make people that have studied math angry. You want to do that as early in the day as possible as well. All right, game number 2. It's Solar versus Scarlet. I don't feel like we should be doing introduction of these players every single game. Like in a way, it's disrespecting the audience. Do we really believe they can't remember who the players are? I think they can match colors as well. Solar being red, Scarlet being blue, the stage uniform. I think we're fine just doing it at the start of the series, Lambo.
Yeah, as long as you flip it to the correct location.
Yeah.
At the scoreboard. Yeah, you're, in that case, I think the C-stream viewers are the smartest I've heard. So
yeah. That's what I've heard too. And I'm not a GSL observer, so I am capable of flipping the names around. Lovely to see. All right, both players once again opening up with a hatchery first. Now, if I'm Scarlet, you know what I would be doing here? I'd be building Mutas. And let me tell you why I would be building Muta. The Muta is the unit. It can fly, it can attack air, it can deny Overlord vision. It's quick, it's fast, and it's frustrating to defend.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be building the Muta. I'm always surprised when I'm watching 2 Zergs play and all they do is build roaches. And I think to myself, why not a couple of Mutas in there? Because I feel like the win rate of Muta players, Muta in ZVZ is a little bit like 2 racks, proxy 2 racks, and proxy 3 racks. Don't you think?
I don't think so, but I like your reasoning. Yeah, the issue with the Muta is just that the Sparry costs a lot and the Muta costs a lot. If you get them out unpunished, they can be very good. This is also 2 players that do like to play Muta, but mostly just Roach Muta, so the Mutas are not really doing that much. I would be very surprised to see, at the very least, Solar going for Lingbane Muta, because that's very greedy. The Sparry costs 200, it takes a long time to build, so any all-in that hits before that usually kills you, because the opponent just has that many more roaches at the point before the Muta spawns. So that's why we don't see it as frequently, as this is also a relatively short map. This is also a map where you could play 2 base, as both players are not opening with 15 edge, also both players starting up speed, so looks to be very standard once again.
Yeah, very standard. No 2 base shenanigans.
Yeah, also not the same build again from Solar, as he pulled 1 drone off gas. This is just completely standard from both sides. I know both of them sometimes like to skip the baning nest. So that's the next thing that we can look out for, is do both players start the baning nest right about now? They should start it. Or does one of them skip it, go for a straight Evo chamber, which Scarlet sometimes does, but yeah, both of them just playing normal. This is the bread and butter ZVZ opener, 3 hatch, both players pull 1 run of gas, go for a baning nest, go for a scout on the other side of the map. And yeah.
Ooh. Micro. Love to see it. 1 link died there on the side of Scarlet. Yeah, I feel like we need a new term for bread and butter. Because I don't think bread and butter is that common anymore as something to eat.
It's true. Well, PB&J, is that what the Americans eat? I feel like in Europe here we don't really have something like that.
Yeah, I think the Americans, they have their own crap that they eat Cheerios and stuff, you know, like cereal and milk.
I mean, yeah, we do that
I think
too.
that's probably the most popular breakfast food, just overall. It doesn't sound as good as bread and butter though, because it also starts with the same letter.
Exactly. You need an alliteration at the very least.
Yeah, no, hard agree. All right, we have some link pressure coming out of Solar. Are there any Banes with this? No, there's one Bane with it. Defensively, Scarlet is looking solid. 16 more links on the way. No aggressive Banes are here. This should be an easy hold here for our blue Zerg players. Gonna kill that Overlord, actually. That's a bit sloppy out of Solar. At least it feels sloppy. I don't think that should be happening. Scarlet also built 5 Banes. It's now gonna get a scout with this Ling. Into the natural, into the main. Didn't see the second gas in the natural. What could that indicate? What does it mean?
I think this is just standard. That's a pretty standard second gas timing. But I would be very surprised to see either of them all in at this point. I think that stage is kind of over. And yeah, I think Scarlet over-defended a little bit, but she made the unit slightly later, so in the end it's completely fine. She also started her lair earlier than Solar. Solar is playing very scared, making a couple of random roaches to make sure he survives a potential attack, as now 4 Banelings are running towards Solar's third base. He needs to evacuate right away, which is exactly what he does, because he was not in position there with his Banelings. Banelings still chasing towards the natural, but get warded away by Solar's Roach defense together with the Queens. At the very least, she denied some mining time there from Solar, so that's pretty good. She's way over making Roaches though, because if you see Roaches this early, it can be an all-in from Solar, but those were just defensive Roaches. So Scarlet now might be like, okay, if you're not all-inning, but I'm constantly producing units, maybe now it's my time to all-in. Which, yeah, you usually with this amount of drones, the one that Solar has right now, if he just cranks out Roaches, I really doubt that Scarlet could finish him. And yeah, she's making drones now as well. This is the classic yo-yo effect in ZVZ, where you see your opponent's units. If he makes them a little bit earlier, he then gets ahead in drones because you overmake units defensively, and then you run across again. We've seen this already happen a couple of times now.
Yeah. It's not entirely what's happening though, because Solar is not really respecting Scarlet's Roaches at all, and now it starts building a spine, but already at 61 drones. So it feels like Solar's gonna get ahead at least a little bit. We'll lose a Baneling there. Probably gonna cancel that spine in time. As the Overseer's popping in, sees the gases starting. We'll see a 6th gas in the main base as well here. That's a lot of gas, no? Or am I crazy?
No, that's completely standard. It's
completely
very
standard.
Yeah. For Roach Revenue, you always go 66 drones. Baneling run by at the same time. Solar once again pulling the drones away nicely, but the Banelings actually survive, which means they could be used later on. Once again for a multi-prong attack, and Solar loses some mining time, so overall good for Scarlet. I think Scarlet is quite far ahead. I am not a huge fan of this Nydus if she's planning on all-inning with it. I think if she just takes a hatchery, plays macro from here, she's in a very good spot. But instead I think she really wants to all-in Solar, which Solar is just messing Roaches off 3 base. It hasn't even taken a 4th base yet, so that's usually not good for the Nydus all-in player.
But what makes it all in?
Well, the fact that she didn't go to 66 drones, she didn't start a 4th base. No second evolution chamber. And she wants to attack. I really don't think she should attack here. Solar's +1 will finish just in time for this attack. She does have more Roaches at this point out, so let's see how this goes. Her reinforcement path basically will be similar to Solar's, as she's just rallying into the Nydus, and the Nydus can reinforce from the top. Solar still has a lot of Roaches in production, which means Scarlet has the overwhelming advantage at the front, and even though she's down an upgrade, the beginning of the fight looks to be pretty good for her.
Yeah, a nice concave as well. As a Nydus here is blocking the reinforcements. Neat play coming out of Scarlet. It actually wasn't blocking the reinforcements, but Solar believed it was blocking, and that was enough. Scarlet taking a phenomenal fight here. So there was a changeling in that wall as well, by the way. I'm not sure if you caught that, but neat little play. Nydus now going up in the main base. Drones being pulled off the line. 133 supply to 127. Army supply in favor of Scarlet. +1 has finished up for her as well. More drones being pulled off the line, trying to just block the Roaches. Now we see an A move. Is Scarlet doing it here?
I think she is. She killed already 6 workers. Once again, she's trying to block with the Nydus Worm. I mean, if you're just A moving your Roaches, even though it might not completely block, so many of the roaches are distracted by the Nydus Worm, and the Nydus Worm as the tank for the main bulk of Scarlet's roach force is working out perfectly here. As she's taken very good engagements and she wins game 2 and ties up the series.
Phenomenal gameplay here coming out of Scarlet, who wow, just wow, Lambo. That was beautiful. That is StarCraft II.
That was a great move.
That was accurate. Have we seen that before?
Yes, it's a natural thing to do if you have a Nydus, but I haven't seen it many times at the very least. I think even the changing I've seen considerably more frequently than the Nydus block. That was really cool.
Now I want you to follow me here on a little journey of the mind, Lambo. So as you're well aware, is that Scarlet is in the team of the Shopify Rebellion, right?
Yes, correct so far.
Now there is a player in the Shopify Rebellion called TLO as well. It's the boss of the Shopify, but also still a player. This player was known in his heyday as a creative mastermind. Is it possible that TLO told Scarlet about this strategy?
It is possible, yes.
And likely is what you're saying as well. I can hear it in your voice.
No, wouldn't say that, but
yeah, you didn't have to say it. I could hear it. I could hear it.
Yeah, okay.
Can't believe that TLO won this map for Scarlet just now. That's a crazy story.
So TLO is basically up 1-0 against Solar right now at Katowice. So you've heard it here first.
You heard it here first. See all the good news here at the C stream as always. As we're already in game number 3 here. I'm gonna help you guys join in as well. Yeah, there you go. It's a little bit delayed there for some reason, but love to see it anyway. As the score is 1-1. Ooh, what the heck is this? This is a 12 pool, Lambo.
I think Solar recently lost to a 12-pool drone pool on this map against the Laser in the WTL playoffs. So it has happened before. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see Scarlet also pull the drones here. Because it is very strong on this map. This is the shortest rush distance in the current map pool, which makes it pretty difficult to defend at 12 pool if you don't know how to do it properly. And the Koreans usually don't really try to figure out optimal responses. They just try to get better at microing and win the straight up fight, which is very, very difficult to do on this map. So we'll see. Even just a normal 12 pull is good on this map, so Scarlet might also not pull the drones. But I really would like to see a drone pull here.
Yeah, me too. Just because I like seeing drone pull. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's coming. Right. It's coming. The drones are selected. The drones are selected, ready to go over. Now, I've... Oh, no, she's not doing it. She's just baited me. No, never mind. Here it is.
Oh, there's one goes ahead of the pack?
Yeah, one goes ahead of the pack, trying to get the spine out as early as possible. I've discussed a lot with Scarlett if 2 spines or 3 spines is better to do. I think 3 spines is better to do, but she believes 2 spines is better. We'll see what she ended up with. As Solar actually also used this build. Solar used this build in GSL also to great success. I think he beat Dark with it. So both players definitely have practiced and played against it in the past. So we'll see what Solar's response is here.
Okay, you see 2 drones being pulled off the line, trying to chase Scarlet's drone away. Spine does go down, and that's indeed a solid 4 or 5 seconds before the second spine will start. Pooh is in range of both of these spine crawlers. We have some drone micro here. As is this good for Solar?
This, I think, was okay for Solar. He's losing a lot of HP on the drones, which is good for Scarlet, and he didn't kill that many units yet off Scarlet. He now starts the engagement. Scarlet is completely caught. You never want to have this happen, because then you can just focus on the spine crawlers afterwards. And I think that fight was a disaster for Scarlet. You really cannot get surrounded. The entire point is to try to delay as much as possible, buy time for the spine crawlers to finish, as now she's re-engaging, and she's trying to make it happen. The one spine crawler finished, but I think that fight was a little bit too bad for Scarlet here. The third spine starts way too late, as Solar just, with a very good engagement here with the drones, takes it.